Hello and welcome. Today we're gonna be playing with some Roll Giant on Ultimate Champion. So my opponent starts with the Hog Rider, and against Hog Rider the game plan will be very simple. Against most cycle decks, our game plan will be to play Roll Giant in the back and try to break through with either one big push with RG Monk in single elixir or with two RGs on the opposite sides in a double elixir. So that's gonna be basically the game plan. I'm gonna pop the bonk ability right now just to deflect the firecracker, and then I'm gonna allow the monk to defeat the mighty miner. At least I would love to. There we go. Another firecracker will arise, and I actually am very happy to see that because next time I can just play a wizard or any card for that matter and activate. Oh, I actually have the king tower activated, but it shouldn't matter. Just the slight safety precautions. We're gonna save the wizard right here, at least save him for a short while, and single elixir is slightly running out, which is definitely the best time for my opponent to go for some good hog pushes and get some early damage. Double elixir is generally considered very nice for us because we can just start stacking RGs on the two sides. My opponent will be playing Mighty Miner on the outside, which is generally considered a very good move because yeah, he can just kite the monk outside of the RG range. I'm gonna play Electro Spirit, try to get a stun on that. The RG won't get damage, so he played it pretty much very well. I'm gonna play Skeletons to kinda distract the Mighty Miner, and he's gonna play the Hog Rider offensively, so I'm gonna go for the Wizard. He's gonna play for another Vines, and if a Wizard will actually protect me from the another shot, the Monk will block the Firecracker, which is super cool. Actually, I'm gonna play the ability just to make sure that this Firecracker will not deal more damage. I'm gonna play Fishboy to get rid of the Mighty Miner, and I do. Now RG will be on the tower, which is super nice. We're gonna get one more hit, and I think one more hit as well. Okay, we're not gonna get one more hit, but it's already very nice. I'm gonna go for the wizard. I'm gonna go for the skeletons. It's gonna be one hit, but okay, it's gonna be two hits with vines, but I'm still very proud of that. I'm gonna play for the monk. And right now, honestly, my opponent definitely tries to kill my wizard, which will not happen because I'm gonna play the monk. I'm gonna play the fishboy as well, and at this point my opponent is in a big trouble because he has to play another cannon, and in the meantime when he does that, I'm gonna just cycle to another RG, to which he doesn't have good defenses. I also have the fishboy to always get hits. Hog Rider, he's gonna play Vines, which is super good micro decision from him. I'm gonna get the fireball down, and he's gonna hold for now, play a very late firecracker just to save his tower. I'm gonna play the fishboy to kite the Hog Rider just like that, and I'm gonna just play Monk at the bridge. My opponent already calls the good game, and it's very fair step. Okay, I actually messed up the Monk ability, but it doesn't matter because the fireball lock will finish off the tower. That was a very nice starter game with RG Monk. I would even consider us being a hard counter, but I think this matchup is definitely more playable for my opponent with Vines compared to the Earthquake, because you can actually make some plays, stop some RGs, and get some damage on the tower with the Hog Riders. So that was the game number one. Definitely happy to pick up a very early win. And yeah, with RGs, I think that pretty much sums up how do you want to play against the cycle decks. Pretty much in double elixir you go for two RGs on the opposite side. I didn't get the opportunity to do so because my opponent was pretty much very committed to one lane, so I kinda wanted to match his energy. If he was counterplaying me on the opposite side, it would have been more of the case. And right now my opponent will be playing drill. I think my opponent will be playing the drill with the vines, so we're gonna try to account for that. That's a very good goblin drill, just to make sure that nothing weird happens. We're gonna play Monk in front and we're gonna put RG in behind, because right now it's gonna be already a very nice push. My opponent has to play delivery, and I'm gonna preemptively pop the Monk's ability just to try to deflect one shot of the cannon, and I do. Fishboy will pull the Berserker, and I think I'm gonna get 3 hits, maybe 2. Okay, we get 2 hits. That's still very nice. My opponent definitely in some kind of disarray. We're gonna try to capitalize on that. Actually, I'm gonna just take my elixir advantage. Take out the bomber, kinda chill out, make my opponent go into me, and I'm gonna just cycle Fisherman in the back, because we're 3 cards away from RG. My opponent goes for the opposite lane, which is definitely the expected behavior. We're gonna play the Wizard on that. My Wizard will fulfill his job. He's gonna play Poison, which is definitely a negative trait. But now, yeah, he's gonna get a positive trait against the Fishboy, so it really doesn't matter too much for my opponent. Wizard will still get 1 hit, so we pretty much get our damage back. That's very nice to see, although it wasn't necessary. It's always fun to see when you're getting damage back. I'm gonna play the Monk, and I'm gonna pop the ability instantly. I'm gonna even deflect his snowball, which is super cool. I'm gonna right now counter the drill, and my RG will be getting on the tower, which is super nice. I'm gonna play the Fisherman right here, and I'm gonna play another Wizard, trying to counter the drill. My opponent will be trying to kinda cheese a hit, and he does. That's actually very scary. And I think I'm gonna just play the Monk in front of that. My opponent plays the Poison into that, which is definitely a smart choice. I'm gonna play the ability just to force out the delivery. And my opponent lets the Wizard get 2 shots, which is super scary for him. I'm gonna play Wizard just to defend the drill. I'm gonna play the E-Spirit just to make sure I don't take any unnecessary hits, and I'm gonna go for double RG. I think that was the plan from the very get-go, so we should at least demonstrate it one time. I'm gonna play Fireball here, just to kill the bomber and get 1 hit. That's gonna be a very good damage. We're gonna be playing E-Spirit right here to damage the Recruit and Kai the Berserker. That's very good. We're gonna play Monk in the back, and right now my opponent should be going all in, kind of, with the drill, and he does. We're gonna be playing Wizard. He tries to catch my Wizard with the drill, but it's not gonna work out. I'm gonna play RG in the back, and I'm gonna take my Monk's ability to delete his cannon. I'm gonna play E-Spirit just in case. And he plays another cannon, which is super bad. I'm gonna pre-play a Wizard just already to kinda account for the drill. My opponent is playing some cards to counter my RG. I'm gonna get E-Spirit to counter that. And right now my opponent has to play another cannon for the opposite RG, but the RG on the right side dealt so much damage. So yeah, you pretty much already can see that this matchup is very difficult for the drill player, because all I have to do is pretty much go for these double RGs, and they are very difficult to stop. I'm gonna play some defense right here, trying not to take too much damage. My opponent went definitely very aggressive. I'm gonna play the ability very early on. I'm gonna play Wizard and Skeletons to kinda block the first Goblin. And at this point, it's gonna be very difficult for my opponent to make any comeback. I'm gonna go just for Fireball. At this point of the game, spell cycling isn't a bad choice. I'm gonna go for RG to skip the building. I'm gonna play the Wizard to splash on the drill, and I'm gonna get a very nice damage as well. I'm gonna get the log, I'm gonna get the Fireball, and at this point it should be a full wrap. Even though my opponent played very well, once again I think it was my matchup, so we played it to the teeth, and we pick up a very nice win against the Goblin Drill. So in this game I was actually able to demonstrate why RGs on the 2 lanes will be very difficult for him to hold, because if he messes up a building or pre-cycles it too early, he will struggle against the second RG, and that's definitely the goal of this game. Because if we play into 1 lane against Drill, usually these players are smart enough to kinda defend only 1 lane, but the moment you go for the 2 lanes, they have to be very smart with their buildings, and they will make some mistakes eventually. Right now we are playing against Roll Chef, against which honestly I don't like playing. So we're gonna go for the skeletons, and since he didn't pre-cycle anything, we're gonna just go for the very aggressive RG. We forced out some elixir. I'm gonna play the log just to make sure that the prince won't kill us immediately. And fortunately, +1 prince still doesn't kill the fish boy. So we're gonna get a full counter without spending any more cash. I'm gonna play monk on the outside, kinda to cycle to the fish boy, because obviously fish boy will be the best counter against the golem. We're gonna play the wizard as well, and at this point I think we have a full counter secured. My opponent may be willing to play tornado on this monk, but yeah, monk will just go in front, and my opponent is already calling a good game, which honestly I don't even blame him for, because after this activation it's gonna be very difficult for him to ever come back to this game. I'm gonna get a wizard going. I think I'm gonna go for the RG at the bridge. And my opponent still plays, so definitely good spirits for him. He's gonna take a lot of RG damage, but now he's gonna get a counter push, to which I have to respond. And since I have to respond to that, he will get a lot of elixir advantage. I'm gonna play Monk low, just for his rocket not target to the tower. And right now my opponent has, I believe, +5 elixir lead, so he should be playing Golem in the... Okay, he plays Skeletons, that's actually fair. Now he plays Evil Baby Dragon, to which I really don't agree. I think I'm gonna... Okay, if he plays it like that, maybe I agree to that Baby Dragon, but still, it's a very risky play for him to do. I'm gonna play the Monk, just to tank like that. My opponent now gets a very nice Nado, so I have to be very careful about this defense. I'm gonna play the Fireball like this. And now I'm gonna just tank the Prince. I'm gonna play the late log, just to protect the wizard as well. And we get away with a very scrappy defense. If he goes in with a golem in front, it's gonna be already very dangerous. I'm gonna go for the monk to kinda block the baby dragon, and I succeeded at that, so that's very cool. I hope this wizard kills... Okay, it doesn't kill the electro dragon, so it will suck a bit. I'm gonna play the wizard right here. Taking one hit from baby dragon won't be a problem. I'm gonna play the skeletons just to tank for the prince, and I'm gonna go for the RG on the opposite side, just to make sure I don't give him too much value on one side. I'm gonna go for the fish boy, which will be a 10 out of 10 cleanup card, and yeah, already I'm getting a lot of damage on the opposite side, where my opponent definitely doesn't want to play, and it's already 2 fireballs away from getting down, so I'm gonna just keep pressing, because it appears that my opponent has a big trouble with stopping this kind of move out. I'm gonna get skeletons as well. I'm gonna get a fireball because I don't think he's gonna damage it enough, and I'm gonna get a GG. So in this matchup, it was pretty much, we played RGs mostly at the bridge. You don't want to play the RGs in the back against the beatdown deck. And I kinda used my damage advantage on one side to kinda make him worried about me taking the right side. So he had to play all his elixir on the right side preemptively to defend it. So I just attacked the left side, and this way I gained the kind of a momentum advantage, where he had to split his forces. And if you can split the forces of a beatdown deck, you usually are in a very winning scenario. So right now we're gonna be playing against Dark Prince without a Royal Chef, so it pretty much can be anything. I've seen some Rocket Cycle decks being played at CRL, so I wouldn't be surprised, but my opponent will be playing a Sparky, which is definitely a deck that you see often with a Dark Prince. I wish that... Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get a deflection right here against the Sparky, which will be very nice. So yeah, Goblin Giant Sparky. Usually see this deck with the Royal Chef, but my opponent chose to play a Princess Tower, maybe to kinda mess with my head, forgot the inherent and advantage that comes from the Royal Chef in this deck, and kinda go for the mind games, but I was still patient. I kinda forced him into going into me anyway, so it really didn't matter. Right now I think he's still one card away from the from the Sparky. Now he has the Sparky on hand, so it's gonna be a bit more tough. I'm gonna play still RG at the bridge. I think he will be able to kinda push with the Goblin Giant. We'll see though. Okay, he's able to push with the Goblin Giant, so I have to deflag the Sparky. I'm gonna play the log as well, because the Sparky won't die by just that. And the Goblin Giant will activate the King Tower, so that's gonna be a very nice sequence. I hope the Star Prince doesn't get a charge, but even if it does, it's not gonna matter too much. I should have probably played the E-Spirit as well, but like I said, it's not too big of a deal. We get away with a very nice defense against Evo Goblin Giant, against which we pretty much struggle the most, so yeah. Right now my opponent plays Sparky in the back, to which we obviously will be playing Monk, and against Sparky like that, I believe our least worry is to get Sparky, so we're gonna just start stacking troops right now, because this will be our weakest pressure point, just dying to E-Barbs like that. My opponent plays a very nice sequence with the E-Barbs. I actually will let this hit sneak through. I don't really mind that. I'm gonna play Fishbowl in the back, and I'm gonna play Monk as well. My opponent probably already plans some kind of move out with the Goblin Giant on the opposite side, but if he doesn't, I'm gonna just stack everything on one lane. Fisherman will take care of the Ewis, which is super nice. We're gonna take care of this Dark Prince, and I'm gonna already pop the ability just to make sure nothing weird happens. I'm gonna fireball these E-Barbs, even though it's not a good trade. Since my RG is also helping, I don't think it's gonna be too bad. I'm gonna play the log to kind of finish off the E-Barbs, and this E-Barb hit I don't wanna hit, so I'm gonna just stop it with E-Spirit. I'm gonna play another Monk, and right now I'm kinda inviting the Goblin Giant on the opposite side from him. We'll see if he takes it. Okay, he doesn't take the opportunity, which is definitely good for us, and I'm gonna just go all in. I think there's nothing wrong with going all in at this point, because we take his Ewis, we can fireball his E-Barbs to kinda make them useless, and we're gonna break through at the end of the day. So another, I would say, pretty good matchup. We got very lucky today with the matchups. I would say 4-4-4, and we got a 4 wins. Very nice streak. That's gonna be the last silver chest for today, and that's gonna be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of RG gameplay. That was obviously the consistency upload, and I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Peace.